welcome to the Copper Wars, Season 1, Episode 9. My name's Phil, I'm the Games Master, and I'm joined today by 6 willing adventurers, and I'm going to go around and they can introduce themselves. So we're going to start with Kirra.
Hello, I am a human bard named Anais, and I'm fabulous and talkative.
Thank you very much. And we're going to go to Jezza.
G'day, I'm Jezza. Play Carswell Thorn, human fighter, who is quiet and reserved.
Indeed, just like his player. And next we're going to go to Alyce.
Hi, I am Song of the River, Tabaxi Druid, and I now have a quarterstaff.
Oh, yes, we should discuss that. I'm glad you reminded me because I'd forgotten. And we'll now go to Sheena.
Hi, I'm Lani Wukashevich van Loch, and I play Wookie. Well, my nickname is Wookie, and I'm the trickster cleric.
Thank you very much. And we shall go to Carmon.
Hello, I'm Carmon. I play Rosa, the human druid scientist who collects dead things and makes bad life choices.
Yeah, but what about your character? And finally, we'll go to Stuart.
And saving for the best for last is Ikor von Kirby, the kobold rogue of the group. He has recently discovered powers to somehow heal 2 creatures of the same size. So let's see how that goes later on.
Awesome. And in no way to undercut Stuart, going last is me, who plays the bear called Gregor. So we really are leaving the best till last. Fantastic.
Are we though?
Yes, we are. Yes. I will hear no further conversation about that or debate. So the last we left this erstwhile group in episode 8 was the train had just pulled into Jamestown. And Jamestown for the group is basically the end of the line. They need now to travel south to Running Horse. However, they've spent a few days in town now due to bad weather. There's been strong storms, wind, lots of rain, and it's not been a good idea to travel on the open road for a day and a half in those weather conditions. So the group have had an opportunity to have a look around town. It's a small pioneer town, and in fact the group are staying at the only hotel that's in Jamestown called the Pioneer Hotel. You can think of it in terms of like the Wild West, and I may or may not have been slightly inspired or not by Deadwood. So that's the kind of feel. It's a pioneer town at the edge of kind of what we would call civilization. So that's the town. The group, you've had an opportunity to look down around the town for 3 days. It's small, it didn't take very long. And we're going to start on the evening of the 3rd day that you're staying in town. The weather's clearing and you're due to be traveling the next day. We will go to the Pioneer Hotel. It's fairly late at night. You've all retired to your respective rooms for the evening. And Song, are you sharing your room with anyone?
Probably Wookie.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
She always wants company.
It's late tonight. It's about 11 o'clock at night, and there's a rapping at your door.
Like, how late are we talking at night?
About 11 o'clock at night.
Probably would have retired by now.
Yeah.
So I guess that would have woken me from my slumber. So I will go to the door and see who's there.
Standing, as you open the door, standing outside, there is a child. It's a tabaxi child. She's quite dirty. She's kind of soaked through, her fur is soaked through from the rain of the past few days. Her clothes are quite shabby looking, but she's got classic Disney big eyes, and she walks up to you and says, "Can you help me?"
I'll kneel down to her eye level and say, "What is it, child?"
"I want you to go and help my mummy."
"Where's your mummy?"
"She's in the mine."
The
and she stopped
mine.
to cry.
Oh, Wookie! Wookie!
Like I've made a bundle in front of. Have we got a fire in this room, or is this a?
Yeah, you can have a fireplace.
Oh, if we've got a fire, I would definitely take her in. I'll say, come in by the fire, dry your fur."
Okay, and she willingly.
That would probably wake us, like, at least I would rouse to some degree, having, like, a kid basically nuzzle up to me, because I'd be like in a little kind of self-created cot in front of the fire.
Yes.
So the child nuzzles in more into song. It's not.
That makes sense.
She's not particularly standoffish to you, but she's more standonish with song. If that's not a real word, but.
In the sentence, it's a word.
Yeah.
I'll also grab my blanket off the bed and kind of wrap it around her shoulders. What is your mummy doing in the mines?
Before I answer that, can you roll me a perception? So this is just for song. I did want you to roll perception with advantage.
Ooh, okay, perception. Where are we? Oh, that's a good one. 23 or... Yeah, 23.
Yep, 23. So that relates to the past few days. You've seen this child before out the corner of your eye. So she's been hanging around kind of street corners, on the main street. You've seen her, and you know her because you've seen her around, and she seems to have been paying a particular attention to you and the group. So you have seen her before, and when you ask her, so you asked her about her mum.
What is your mummy doing on the mines?
So she eventually kind of rubs her eyes and her tears and her snotty nose on her forearm and says, my mummy was taken away because she owed money, and they took her to the mine, and I miss her very much.
I see. You hear that, Wookie? Her mum got
like-
taken to the mines.
Like getting like sleep out of my eye, and I'm just like, yeah, you make money at the mines. My family worked in mining.
Now, what's your name, darling?
I've written this down. You can call me Misty.
Oh, Misty, you can call me Song. And
That's
this is Wookie.
Hi.
Hello, Song. That's a very pretty name.
Oh, so is yours. Now, these mines, you know where they are? Do we know where they are?
Yeah, you'd know.
know where they are.
There are signs leading up from the top of town towards the Orange Creek mine. From the past 3 days, you and the rest of the group would know that there's a local iron mine nearby. It's a shaft mine, so it's not open cast. It's a classic venture kind of open crawling mine. And so you know that the town is based, it's basically the purpose of Jamestown is to support the mining industry. And what I'll
They're mine.
So for anyone who's not Song and Wookie, would any of you shown any particular interest in the mining of this town?
Rosa would have been a little bit interested.
Okay.
I would be to the extent of finding out what the mine was for and who was running it, like what race was predominantly the main.
Okay, so I don't need you to particularly roll for anything for that. So you'd know that it's iron mining is the industry. They mine the crude ore. Some of it gets smelted in Jamestown, and there's like a warehouse and a furnace attached to the mine. The rest of it kind of gets shuttled back either west towards Mendumaya or east back towards Liberty City. The town itself, over the past few days, you'd know, is predominantly a human town, human settlement. Clearly, there are other races here. None of you would be particularly out of place in Jamestown. You also would have come across a few of the Coyote people that you would have recognized, one from the train escapade a few days ago. But what you would tend to notice is that humans seem to be better treated as a race in town than anyone else. So you'll see other Tabaxi and you'll see Coyote people, but they tend to be the next rung down on the social scale.
Right.
So we'll go back to Song and Wookie. So Misty tells you this, and this kind of snuggles into you and is clearly fighting to stay awake.
Oh, how long ago was your mom taken?
About 6 days ago.
You've been on your own for 6 days.
I have.
I'm gonna like pull some food out of my bag.
Yeah, I was
and give
about
her-
to say, like,
Yeah.
can I roll for candies? Like, searching for candies in my forever jacket?
No, because that doesn't seem unreasonable that you'd have them, and if you roll for them, you might suddenly find you don't. So yeah, you would find some candies in your pocket. Although feeding candy to small children before bedtime is not recommended. Just saying.
Well,
Candy
look, she
nightmares.
looks tired enough, and if someone wants to ask her questions and it would maybe cheer her up, then I don't think Wookie would really care whether or not it was good for kids before bedtime.
That's fine. I mean, you can order an espresso if you like. I mean, let's see what
If
happens.
she asked for one, I probably would.
Probably would. That's right. So she gladly gobbles up the food very noisily, like every tabaxi normally does, and she's asleep within about 5-10 minutes.
Oh, the poor child. Wookie, we need to get her mother back.
How?
That's a good question. Perhaps are we on a timeline for traveling tomorrow, or is that
No,
like-
because you'll be basically making your own way.
Right.
You basically, how your group would have decided to travel is you'll need to get the services of some horses and carriage, and kind of that would be the best route to take. You can't really
Okay.
walk it.
Well,
Have we got a time frame for the actual job, like to go put the spirit in the suit and get back?
Not really. For those of us who have joined us watching this for a while, there is actually a mission in place, although I struggle to recall it sometimes.
We're on a side quest.
In terms of the games master time pressure, no, there's no time pressure for that.
Right. Cool.
I'll be back in a sec.
Well, perhaps we should sleep on it and figure out a plan. This one obviously needs some sleep, and we can't just leave her here by herself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I go get like some of the bedding that's on Song's bed, because I've already obviously
I wrapped
made my
my blanket around her already.
my little
so-
cot and like pillows and stuff to try to make it comfortable for her. She's probably out cold anyway, but
Yeah, she's sleeping soundly.
I'll probably not go back to the bed, because if she wakes up with like nobody there, she'll be like, "Ugh," so I'll probably just move the bed closer actually. And just
probably the smell of you as another tabaxi is probably comforting.
yes.
I mean,
So-
the bed would fit both of you on if you wish to kind of snuggle up.
yeah, maybe I'll just scoop her up and put her on
Yeah.
the bed.
Yeah.
Poor
Yep, you
thing.
can do that. So unless anyone else has any particular desires to go on a side quest on their own at night in a strange town, we shall fast forward to the morning. The weather is still showery. It's still quite breezy outside, but you wake up about 7 o'clock in the morning. So, Wookie and Song, you get particularly woken up a little bit earlier as Misty starts jumping up and down on the bed.
Shall we go down and get some breakfast, darling?
I think it would be Songs, like, you know, trying to instruct the small child that would wake me up more so than the bed jumping, because I'd be in my floor cot.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just go up to Wookie and be like,
Jump me.
I-
Breakfast.
Yeah.
Instantly awake. Food.
I honestly don't believe that Misty would have any problems in jumping on you, Wookie.
I probably
Wake up,
wouldn't
wake up,
care,
wake up.
and probably would take me a little while. Like, if I feel like there's no danger, I would be pretty content, and
Yeah, well, that's fine. We can certainly do that.
probably pretend that if she seems to be having a good time, I'd probably pretend that I wasn't awake, so that she could like put it on for a little further, like a little longer.
Yep.
And I'll tell Misty, let's go down to breakfast, and I've got some friends that I would like you to meet who can
Okay.
help get
So
your mum back.
you will know that the Pioneer Hotel doesn't do its own food. However, there is a place in town on the mine road called the Country Kitchen, which is basically just a spit and sawdust place where they serve food for residents of Jamestown, plus all the itinerant miners that work there as well.
Would we have been eating breakfast together over the last couple of days, everyone?
Assume so.
Expect so.
Yeah, so I guess we'll do our usual morning routine then. of
Just
going-
on that note, I probably would not have gone anywhere without Carswell, because obviously this is a town that's predominantly human, and I'm female, and females are not looked upon very well, or not well, but highly, and this is a frontier town. So I'm basically welding my ass to Carswell.
Okay.
That's
I would have been walking around completely disregarding any gender norms of this town.
Look, that's fine. And generally speaking, I mean, compared with the big city where there's clear societal norms for men and women, you tend to find in Jamestown it's a bit more kind of down at heel in terms of there's a lot of women in town, but they tend to have one particular job. So an escort isn't a bad idea. But Rosa won't be particularly hassled either in that respect, because there are laws in the town. It's not a lawless place at all. So are you all happy to meet in the lobby of the hotel?
Mhm.
Okay, so when you go down, you'll notice that one of your party is missing, and that's Timber. And Gregor, who's making a rare appearance because the DM remembers, has a piece of paper in his hands and said, just to let you know, Timber, he go back to Liberty City. There's been some developments that maybe I should tell you, and I probably won't use the accent to tell you. So whilst you've been traveling, the world continues to turn. And there's been a rather significant development up north, and that is that Rusland, as you may remember, was moving a lot of its naval vessels north. The big news from Rusland is that it is now just annexed Vinland, and Vinland is now known as North Rusland. So to give you some historical context, it's basically what Germany did to Austria in the beginning of the Second World War. So Vinland and Rusland share Wolfkin as a common race. And so the government of Vinland basically just rolled over and allowed Rusland to annex them. So Gregor conveys that Timber is now traveling back to Vinland to see if there's a resistance that he can find, because obviously he was greatly disturbed by the fact that Rusland has basically just gained a whole heap of territory and intends to occupy it. So in terms of the world, that's something that has happened. Wookie would also be, I suppose, fairly interested in this, because that actually now borders directly with your country.
And also, I think you're more on a personal level, because I've been with Timber for some time before I met the others.
Yeah.
That Timber disappearing and understanding how Timber is very close to his family, because we're both quite family orientated. I'd understand why it would be hard, and that why he may have picked up and gone.
Yeah, and
Then the DM goes and throws a scared child. Well done.
and also Gregor is noticeably subdued as well, because obviously Rusland is his homeland, and he is somebody who's been suffering greatly at the government policies, and that's why he fled. So it's a significant development. Not necessarily to all you directly, but it certainly will have an increasing influence on politics in Edisonia as well, because Edisonia and Rusland are engaged in what would best be described as a Cold War in that respect. And now that Rusland has made some active kind of provocation, at this moment in time, the rumor on the street is that nobody knows what's going to happen next, what the response from Edisonia will be. So watch this space. So that's.
Do I already know about Congo too?
I'm trying to remember what that is. Ah, yes. Okay. So you definitely have heard rumors from the other Tabaxi that are in town, and I will let you share that with the group if you wish.
Yeah. So pretty much, was it Edisonia?
Yeah.
Is going to make a move onto Congo. So once we finish this business, I will be able to get some funds, and that is where I will be heading afterwards. And if you have any interest in coming along, that would be great. But that's all I'll say on that for now.
Yeah. So the rumor mill about that is that the one of the main effects from the train robbery, where a lot of gold was stolen, was that Edisonia was no longer able to pay for the copper that it was buying from Menlumea, and so that deal fell through. So Edisonia did not get the copper that it was expecting to get it. And it also lost the gold it was had as well. So the rumor is that Edisonia is now looking for Plan B. Now, Plan B, one of the rumors is that Plan B is, despite there being an embargo in place with Tonga, is that Edisonia may well just use alternative channels, which would be using mercenaries to gain copper from Takonga, despite the government's objections. So there's increasing tension from Edisonia as well. So that just paints a bit of politics about where you are at the moment. And yeah, so that's that.
But that's for another day.
That's for another day, and that explains why Timber's not here. We may see Timber yet still. So that bit of news has been shared with you all. What do you want to do?
Was there? You mentioned that Timber left a note. Obviously, you mentioned that you don't read. So do you know what's on the note, or is that effectively what would have been written on the note that you've handed to us?
Yeah, Timber going back to his homeland to seek the resistance is basically what was written on the note that Gregor would have handed to.
Could I take it? I would opt to take it as a piece of memory.
Yeah, look, I mean, Gregor would probably think that's a little bit rude of Wookie, but he's not that bothered by it. He just knows he can't read it, so. Yeah.
So I assume the kids come down to breakfast.
Yes, I was just about to say, everyone, this is Misty.
Yep.
Where did she come from?
She made an
Her mother.
appearance in the middle of the night. And yes, that's where most people come from.
She's so fuzzy.
She's adorable, isn't she? But she has lost her mummy to the mines and would like us to help her with that situation.
The finals lost.
She's probably dead.
Covering ears of child.
I'm gonna
Can you give us like a hard thump on the back of the head to that comment, knowing that it was just not right?
I will just point out that the number of people that want to hit Ikbo right now, I might have to roll for initiative.
Competition.
Yeah. And kind of Gregor gives a disapproving tut to Ikbo and shakes his head.
What? I tell truth.
It is not true. Stay quiet.
So, her mother unfortunately owes some money and was taken forcibly to the mines, I'm assuming, to work off the debt that she accrued. But nobody should be forcibly taken.
Ikbo looks like he's about to speak again, but I'm assuming someone's hand's going to cover his mouth.
I'm just going to do this.
I would just be hugging his head a little bit.
Yes, that's Ikbo, Misty. Isn't he funny? He likes to make jokes.
He's little.
Funny.
And,
You're like the same height.
Oh yeah,
Should be taller.
pretty
No,
much.
are you shorter than me?
I'm 2'3".
Yeah, he's shorter.
Yeah, you are shorter than me.
And he's shorter than Misty as well. I mean, Misty's actually quite fascinated because I'm you know, she's never seen a kobold before. So yeah,
So she's probably not listening to anything he's saying.
not the words as opposed
Well,
to.
I hope she's not listening to anything he's saying.
So she'd be a perfect party member.
I found this town to be entirely boring so far, so I'm all for finding this girl's mother. Anybody else in?
Lovely.
We'd already agreed to go. I
Why?
just assumed you would too.
She's not paying us, is she? Little girl, do you pay?
Ikbo, I'll give you some of my money if you want, but we need to get her mother back. She's been gone for 6 days now.
We're already on a job.
I can give you some of my money.
And the hugging of the head just becomes a little bit stronger.
Mothering.
Yeah.
So do we know who runs this mine?
No, I'm assuming you wouldn't have that depth of knowledge.
Okay.
Ikor starts tapping Wookie on the arm.
I think it's breakfast time, and I go to, seeing as Ikor is so much shorter than me, I go to try to pick him up and like walk him out.
He's not that much shorter. That you kind of point him up and walk.
How big are you, Wookie?
That's a good question. Normally, I actually write down my size.
If you wish to do so, however, you can. You just have to do it.
I'm 4'5".
Yeah, a couple of foot taller. Yes, Rosa.
Do we want to roll luck for today?
Oh yes, please do.
So what is it again?
12,
Yeah.
a D12.
12, yeah.
D12.
1d12 plus 6.
What do we got here? Why aren't you
Roll
rolling?
a 1.
So you get
Apparently
7
it's
luck.
not my lucky day.
Not your lucky day.
God, where's my... There it is.
So plus 6, did you say?
Yes.
So you've got 7 in total.
Roll.
12 in total.
12 total here too.
Yeah, as long as you make a note of
16.
it. Nice.
15.
Wait. 12.
And Ikbo?
11.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just make a note of it yourselves. I trust you when you use it, so that's fine.
Rookie mistake.
So you walk along Mine Street, which is the northern running town. The street is kind of like compacted mud, but it's obviously very squishy and boggy, given the 3 days of rain that it's had. It's an unpleasant kind of experience squidging through the mud, and Igbo, it's kind of up to your neck, really. No, it's not that bad. But, I won't make you do difficult terrain because it's not that far to walk, but it's cold, it's wet and windy, and the town is quite quiet. However, there's quite a few people in the country kitchen. They're all ready there for their breakfast. You see a few humans who you would assume to be in the mining industry. They're wearing, I was going to say mining clothes, but you know what I mean, kind of like hat, denim, like flannel shirt.
Do they have a canary in a cage?
They don't all have a canary in the cage. But you would assume that they'd probably be kept nearer the mine as opposed to take home with them. Like, it's not a class pet or anything.
They'd probably be kept in the camp.
But,
Everyone gets a turn with the canary.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll say there's a group of 4 miners sitting at the table, and there's a smattering of other people. There's a table that fits just the right amount of people for your party, which is great. And next to your table, there's a table of 1 where there appears to be a halfling sitting, eating some bacon and grits. So, yes.
I'm gonna make my way over to the miners, the table of 4.
Sure.
I'm going to go with Anais.
Okay.
I'll order us breakfast.
Okay. Yep.
I'm waiting.
I get my breakfast and I sit with the halfling away from my party, who doesn't seem to be wanting my company at the moment.
No, that's fine. The halfling greets you warmly and cheerily, and you're more than welcome to sit there. I'm sure he'll talk all about everything to you.
All the things.
All the things. He's a halfling.
As halflings do.
As halflings tend to do, yes.
Getting him to shut up's the problem.
That could well be the case. So
Also applies to you. Just saying.
No, I know when to shut up. I just choose not to.
yeah, there's a distinct difference. Okay, so we're going to go in a bit of an order now. Then we'll go with Anais and Carswell first, because you said first. So you've gone over whilst your breakfast. I'm assuming that you've all kind of put an order in, and Song will sort that out. So yeah, you go over. There's 4 kind of burly, muscular-looking blokes, basically, and they're sitting having their tin cups of coffee, and they've got breakfasts in front of them.
All right, I'm gonna dial up a kilowatt smile and put on an air of ever so slight, let's not say ditziness, I don't want to be a total tool, but at least maybe excitement. Approach the gentleman and say, sirs, good sirs, might I have a word for a moment?
Seeing as you've told me you're going to put on your bestest kilowatt smile, do you want to do a roll then for charisma?
I would love to do a roll for charisma.
Do a roll for charisma.
Go bard.
Undo your top button.
We not flirt with minors here?
Oh!
It's the correct spelling, don't worry.
Alrighty.
Handkerchief.
So rolling.
It would stick to the floor.
Alright, so it's 15 plus 6.
Oh, 21.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine. You're quite your smile is far more kilowattish than Carswell's.
Excellent.
We just look like a killer.
You'd hope so, at least.
I'm not sure if you guys, gentlemen, are aware, but we've been in town a day or so, and my husband here, and I tap Carswell on the shoulder since I already have my arm linked with his.
You've been promoted.
My husband is looking for work. We are wondering if perhaps you might give us the name of a manager that we might get some information from about employment.
Really asking to speak to their manager.
Oh, I've done it already.
So one of them turns and says, all right, yeah, we've seen you around. So you're looking for work in the mine, are you? Any good with a pickaxe?
As you can see, sir, his musculature is quite decent, and
has he lost his tongue then? Does he let his woman do the talking for him?
I just simply I flex my muscles and go, good enough.
Then you're going to roll for intimidation.
Go.
I want to see how effective that was.
All right, hold on.
How much luck do you have?
See, I've got like an 11 charisma, so Jesus.
Yeah, it's not charisma though.
Intimidation is.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Or you can technically overrule and say it's strength based if you wanted to.
Nah.
Wow.
Here we go.
All right.
I love it when Jezza rolls.
You have luck.
Yeah. I have a question though.
Yes, go on.
All right. Before I do anything, does rolling a 1 count out using your luck?
Well, it's up to you. I mean, so the way that I run things is when you're doing a skill check like this, you can't critically fail or critically succeed a skill check. It just means that if you know that you did really poorly, so if you want to burn through all your luck, it's up to you.
Oh yeah, 15. I'm going to use all 15.
Okay, cool. You're done. So you've had a intimidation of 16. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would be 16 all up.
Cool. So you flex your muscles. Says, well, okay, yeah, you look pretty handy. I'm not quite sure why you'd let your woman talk for you though, but no. All right. So you want to go up. You want to go up to the mine. There's an office there. You want to speak to the foreman. His name's Harry Gobbs. And you have a word with him. There's always more rock to be dug out. So I'm sure you'll be all right.
I'm going to just nod, tap, head, agreed. Thank you kindly, sir, and have a pleasant day.
Thank you, sirs.
Yeah. And they all start.
We'll go back to the table and we will drop the name of who we're going to say.
Yeah. Carswell, can you roll? Or actually, you can both. Anais and Carswell, can you roll me something?
A dice.
Perception.
Perception or deception?
Perception with a P.
All right.
Perspiration.
Yeah. See how hot it is in there.
15.
22.
Okay, so you both overhear them as you're walking away, saying, "Cool, he was a bit of a show-off, wasn't he? What a tosser." Yeah. Who goes round flexing their muscles in the bloody... bloody hell, the boss is gonna have him for dinner. So yeah. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but you do hear that as you go back to your table. So you rejoin the others except Ikor. Now, Ikor, you're sitting at a table with the halfling. If you wish to strike up a conversation with him, you can.
I just sort of like give him a nudge and say, "Look at that tosser," and point to Carswell.
And the halfling looks over and says, "I mean, who does that? Who flexes their muscles in a dining hall like that? I mean,
I have no idea. Like what?
Do you even know who he is or something?"
Oh, yeah, I got no idea who he is.
Oh, wow, what a tosser. Anyway, and he extends his hand to yours. He says, "Good day, my name's Cedric."
Hello, Cedric. I am Ikor.
Ikor, well, it's a pleasure to meet you. What brings you to this part of the town, or what brings you to this town?
Oh, well, we're heading through on business, heading further south. on a bit of an adventure ourselves.
Oh, an adventure. Tell me more about this.
Sadly not. Sadly not.
Oh, come on. You look like you have a story to tell.
I do have a story to tell, but
Well, tell it
now is
then.
not the time.
When is
It's
the
just
time?
not the time.
It's,
When we get back.
it's always... when
We
you
should only be back in a few days' time, and I should tell you all about it then.
Okay. So let me establish that you people, the people you're traveling with, are adventurers because you're going on an adventure.
Correct.
Well, I have a proposition for you, Ikbo.
I am listening.
Okay. So I'm the editor and journalist and basically the one-man band here of the Jamestown Bugle. I run the local newspaper, and you can imagine for a kind of small little town like this, news is a bit far and few between. How about, now this is, it gets my blood flowing in all the right places, that maybe I could come with you on your adventure just to do like a running journal of your great heroics.
Ikbo contemplates this at the moment, and he thinks telling him to go ask, like, Rosa what she thinks would just be amusing to him. So he's like, I'll tell you what, if you can persuade my colleague over there, and I've gestured to Rosa, she will gladly give you the right information that you need.
Well, I don't need information. I just need your permission to come with you.
Yes, she will provide it for you.
Oh, okay. And he waves over to Rosa, and because you're in speaking distances. Oh, I hear you all adventurers. Your friend's just been telling me.
Friend's an overstatement, but adventurers is fair.
So I was just explaining to your good friend here that I'm the local editor of the newspaper, the Jamestown Bugle, and news rarely comes across my desk, to be honest, because this is a bit of a dive. So
Yeah, it's got that vibe.
Yeah, and you can understand how difficult it is for me, who's trying to write the news, that news never happens. So I was asking your friend here whether I could just kind of join your party to kind of like take a journal, like I could actually write in real time about what adventurers do. I could make you guys look amazing.
Rosa kind of thinks when she's like, yeah, I mean, we could definitely use someone useful in this party other than myself, so it's fine by me.
Hold on. We have conditions.
I choke on my food as she says useful.
And so Cedric looks at Anais and say, you have medical conditions? And he pulls out a notepad and pencil. Tell me about these. Where did you get them from? Is it life-threatening?
Not yet, it's not. So we need to discuss the conditions in which you will follow us.
Okay. No, I mean, why not? Absolutely.
Condition 1, you go first.
No, well, I'm not.
Before any publication is made, we have the right to vet, accept or decline anything that you choose to publish about us.
Yeah, that seems very fair, for sure. Is that it? Is that the only condition? I sense you had a big list, but you've only said...
You can only take photographs of her left side. She doesn't like a right.
Oh, no, I don't have one of the new cameras, I'm afraid. I just use like pencil art.
Okay, only sketch the left side then.
Yeah, that's fine. I can find somebody to sketch the left side.
Well, Cedric, here's some news for you. Did you know that your mines use forced labor?
Well, now, and he leaves Ikbo at the table and pulls up his chair to your table. He says, well, I do know that actually. It's a bit of a scandal because, so here's the thing. What happens is that there's a local bylaw. Okay, so what happens is if you owe money to anyone in particular, if you can't afford to pay it, the law allows the mine to take those debtors and force them to work. It's like an indentured servitude. Now, anywhere else in Edisonia, my understanding is that that's illegal. Okay, however, the mayor managed to put this law through. And look, half the population are okay with that. They think it's putting bums to good use. The other half, like myself, is quite uncomfortable with the whole concept. I'm sure there's more of a story to tell, but getting information is nigh on impossible. I have to be honest.
Are there cases where a person's debt has been paid and they have left? Or if perhaps a Good Samaritan was to pay said debt?
That's where the waters of Orange Creek get a little bit murky, if I can put it that way.
So nobody leaves.
Well, people don't leave with any great fanfare. Let's put it that way.
You know who runs the mine?
Do they leave with a pulse?
Look,
In a
it's not
box?
for me to say. I mean, if there, I mean, you know, mines are mines. It's a very dangerous business at the best of times. So, who runs the mine? You'll be wanting to speak to Old Man Gobbs. He runs the mine, but it's not. Look, it's not his mine as such. It's owned by a lot of different people. A lot of people put the money in to back the mine. But you know, Gobbs is your main man on the ground here.
How much do you need to owe?
Well, there's a story in itself. I mean, it depends on who you are. Okay. Looking at your friend here, and he points to Anais or Carswell, and says, I suspect that you guys, if you owed money, you wouldn't have to go to the mine at all. All right. You'd be given a lien so you could pay back eventually.
Why is that?
So if it was somebody like your kobold friend here, or like yourself, the Tabaxi, there seems to be a high proportion of people sent to the mines over what would be seen as trifling debts.
So,
If the debts are trifling, they should be easy to pay off and then leave the mines.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But as I say, just be really cautious about who you ask in town about this, because otherwise some of you will end up in the mine themselves. And
How are the guards? How are the guards reacting? The miners, other miners, are they like reacting to this conversation at all, or are they sort of doing their own thing?
I shall roll perception with disadvantage. Do I choose the 4 or the 8? They're deep in conversation. They're finishing up their breakfast.
Or
And,
Jezza.
that's not a view we needed. And so I think they're still talking about Carswell and his poncing about. They're not really listening to. They would know Cedric quite well, because he's obviously a town local. So Cedric talks to people all the time. So they're not paying attention to what he's saying at this moment in time.
Yep, good.
I don't imagine the paid miners would like others taking work away from them, though, right?
Well, that's where you're wrong. You see, if you put yourself in the position of one of the professional miners, then the best thing in the world is A, to get your salary, and B, to get somebody else to do the most dangerous stuff before you go in. If you get my drift. So I don't think they have any problem with it, or how much they're told, I don't know. But the miners would certainly, the paid miners would certainly know that there's people in there that are not salaried.
Right, we need to go in. We can't go in half-cocked on this one. We need to find out how much this woman owes before we even attempt to negotiate. Is this something we can pay, or is this something we're going to have to bribe?
It seems like you're speaking about a specific person.
Misty, what's your mother's name?
She's called Earthshine Moon.
What?
Wow, that's
Earthshine Moon.
Earthshine Moon.
That's her name for short.
That's who we're talking about.
Flyer?
Yeah.
That's who we're talking about, Cedric.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm aware of what happened. Yeah.
What happened? Would you like to enlighten us?
Well,
This young lady is left without her mother.
Yeah. See, this is the problem. So my understanding is that Earthshine Moon has been working in town, and through no fault of her own, because young Misty here was ill, ran up a debt, and that debt was called in without any period of notice. And so
That's wrong.
I take that there are other children in the same kind of situation.
there may be, I don't know of any particularly. It's not a big town. There is a school in town, and it's just up Mine Street, just up from here on the other side of the road.
Misty, do you go to the school?
I go sometimes.
Are there other kids in the school that their parents are working at the mine?
There are kids that go to school whose mummies and no, not their mummies, but their daddies are miners.
But in the same way that your mummy is working?
No, it's their job.
Anais is probably going to look at Wookie and go, don't even think about it. We can't save them all.
I didn't say anything.
I know how you think, sweet little one.
Cedric, in the event that something would happen to the mayor, who would take over?
Presumably there would be another mayor, and they'd have an election. But if you, in case you're thinking of anything untoward, just be very careful because the mayor's got very powerful friends. And you don't look like you're either suited for like heavy mining or hanging from the end of a rope by your neck.
Oh well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, could we potentially just approach them and offer to pay her debt?
Well, your probably best port of call would be to speak to the sheriff. When it comes to matters of law, I know for the fact that the sheriff does not support the indentured servitude. However, he also has to handle the actual matters of taking people up there and handing them over to the mine.
That's unfortunate.
Is there an accountant? It sounds like there's a lot of money stuff, so I imagine there's an accountant.
An accountant where?
To keep a ledger of all the money owing.
Probably. That's mine business. I have no idea. I've made inquiries in the past, and I've, in no uncertain terms, I've been asked to stop asking too many questions.
If we're seen going directly to the sheriff, that might be a bit of an issue. So I think we're going to have to find a discreet way of approaching the sheriff.
No, not really. It's a small town. People see the sheriff all the time.
Where would we find him? Does he stay in his office, wander the town?
There's there's the town jail and the sheriff's office just around the corner, opposite the bar.
Does he take people on tours?
On tours, he's not really. You do know what a sheriff does, don't you? He's not a tour.
Where does he have lunch?
Where does he have lunch? I don't know. You'll have to ask him.
There's not that many places. I would think you may know.
Well,
there's only one place. It's here.
It's here.
He may come here at times, or he may make his own sandwiches. I don't know. I don't even know what he enjoys.
Stop it. We'll risk it. I say we just go and speak to the sheriff.
Let's do it.
Yep. So you'll finish your breakfast and pay up.
Yes. How much is breakfast?
It's an amount so trifling that I'm not even going to worry about.
Ikor doesn't pay.
Oh, dine and dash.
Well, if Ikor doesn't pay, he needs to sort that out with his party, not the DM. So.
No, that's fine. I just walk out.
Okay. So yeah,
Did you end up in the mine?
There's one, two.
Anais is going to pay, but she's literally going to be like giving him evils and planning retribution.
Yeah, there's 8 breakfasts to pay for, and only 7 people are. Well, no, 6 people are putting their hands in the pockets because you can't expect Misty to pay either.
Not quite.
Although, if she owes you money, you could always get her sent to the mine. That'll pay it off.
Yeah, insider.
Yeah. So you leave the country kitchen and go trudging back down Mine Street, and you turn right into the main street. And on your right-hand side is the sheriff's office and town jail.
Well, let's go meet the sheriff.
Yep. So you go through. It's only a small office that the sheriff is in, so I'll let 3 people go in there, and it's not going to be Gregor, obviously.
Does Misty count?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll wait outside.
Okay.
Do people have a preference? Otherwise, I will not wait.
I will say I will wait outside. Come get me if you need me.
Yeah, leave the silver tongue of the group outside.
I know. I want to see how this goes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll go in.
So Wookie's going to go in. Who else?
I'll go in.
Rosa.
Well, I feel like I need to stay with Misty, so maybe Anais should go in.
Okay, well, I'll let Song and Anais fight that one out. In the meantime, Wookie and Rosa have gone in.
I'm staying outside with Misty because I don't want to leave her out here.
So you walk in, and the sheriff is seated behind a desk. Now, I'm just going to take a step aside from the game just for a moment, just to add something that I felt needed to be added at this point. So I often go through lots of different Facebook groups to do with D&D, and I noticed today somebody posted about their brother, who was a big Dungeons and Dragons fans, unfortunately passed away recently, and we had a whole discussion about, I suppose, legacy in terms of how best to commemorate his brother through the campaign they were playing. And so I thought it'd be nice to introduce an enduring NPC in this game in honor of the brother who passed away, because the way that I view D&D is across the whole world, we're all one family who play D&D, so we're a role-playing family. And I just wanted to do this as a kind of memoriam for one of our fallen friends and family. I just want to give a quick shout out to Glenn Morales, whose brother it was that passed away. And he very kindly provided me with some information. And I'm just going to read this to you now to give you some idea of the sheriff that sits before you. So his name is Throm. He's Sheriff Throm, and he is a half-orc. He's olive green, and he's got lengthy strawberry blonde hair and a big Cheshire grin. His torso is decorated with ornate spiraling tattoos that resemble spiked tendrils wrapping around his left bicep and chest. Throm is commonly seen wielding his legendary blade Mirasa, and it's a black iron greatsword gifted to him by his god of justice, Rhine, who he served dutifully up until the day he decided that adventuring was no longer his thing, and he settled down and became the sheriff of Jamestown. Up until that day, he gave his life in sacrifice against the great goddess of chaos. Throm, as you will know from your past few days in town, can be obnoxious, but he's also a very quick-witted, hilarious, kind of heroic fellow. And he can often be known as to be scatterbrained. So that's the sheriff of Jamestown, Sheriff Throm. And he welcomes Wookie and Rosa as you both walk into his office.
Did you mention what race he is?
He's half-orc.
Half-orc, okay.
So he's about twice, he's not twice the height of you, but if he was to stand up, he's already taller than you and he's seated, so.
I'm going to walk up to him and say, like, hello, we're here to pay off a debt for, what was the woman's name, Wookie?
Shine Moon.
What?
I go, Moon Lady, and then I put out my hand to be shaken by the giant of a man.
Okay, he looks at you and says, Moon Lady, that's not me, so is that you? Or is that you? And you look at
No, that's who we're looking for, but I'm Wookie.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Throm. I'm the sheriff of Jamestown. Sorry, can we start again from the beginning? Because I kind of like I heard words, but they didn't really make any sense in any sort of order.
There's a lady
I don't often.
in the mines right now, paying off a debt. We'd like to pay that debt to release her from her indenture.
Well, that's okay. So the system is you would need to negotiate that with the mining company. Once there's a debt to be paid, it goes from my legal jurisdiction over to the mine. They're expected to have the people working from them until the moment that the debt is paid. However, just a personal opinion, I'm not entirely sure that happens. However, there are laws in place that the mayor has created and they've been accepted, and I have very little I can do about it.
Could you pass me, do you have a record of these laws so that we could read through them?
And the amount of debt that's owing?
I don't have a record of the debt. My job is really to escort the said people from town up into the mine camp.
Okay, well, if we want to negotiate with the mining company, where would we find them?
They're up at the mine.
That's unusual, but okay.
Do you have a name for us that we can go in, ask for?
So I said that again. I was just interjecting with that your friend who just has this weird notion that the mining offices won't be anywhere near the mine.
I mean, have you seen most mining offices? They want to stay as far away from all the dirt as possible.
I can honestly say that I have 100% experience in dealing with mines because there's one here and there's a mining office right next door to the mine.
Who's the boss guy there?
You want to speak to old man Gobbs?
Gobbs.
Yeah. Gobbs.
Any tips for talking to this?
Be nice to your mother.
What? I didn't hear that. Thank you.
What?
Be nice to your mother. It's always a great tip.
That's always a great tip. Yeah.
Where could we meet his mother?
I don't know. You can ask him though. I wouldn't advise it. He can tend to be a bit prickly and spiky. He's not a particularly pleasant fellow, in my opinion. But if you need any tips about talking to him, just try and string sentences together, use proper grammar and syntax, and make sense. It seems
We've got a person that's good with that. Does he like gifts? Does he like to drink?
In Jamestown, it's about the only hobby that people do. There's no sports here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you said you escort everyone up to the mines. How long have you been working here exactly?
I've been here about 2 years.
And do you remember escorting this Tabaxi girl's mother? She had Moon in her name somewhere.
Yeah, I know Earthshine.
Earth, shiny moon, or something like that.
That's right, Earthshine Moon.
Could you tell us anything about
her actual name? Her full length name is Earth. Her real name is Earthshine Moon over the Misty Valley. So it's Earthshine Moon for short.
Good on you for remembering. I wouldn't.
I'm a sheriff whose focus is on the community. It's my job to know things.
On that topic, can you tell us any more about the circumstances of how she accrued this debt and how she was forced into indentured servitude to pay it off?
Wasn't her daughter sick?
As a matter of fact, I can't tell you because, as I mentioned, I know people, but I don't know you.
Well, we're looking after her daughter right now, and from what we have overheard, her daughter was sick, and I take that she needed to pay for what could have been expensive medicine.
Treatment and medicine, that's my understanding. Yeah, that's what the judge told me. And
you were fine with just escorting this woman up to basic slavery for getting medicine for a sick child?
And he taps his finger on his tin star on his chest. You see what this? You see this? You know what this means? I represent the law. I don't get to pick the laws which I do and do not uphold. Okay, you're being rather naive if you think that I'm in any way part of this issue. I have to do my job.
You say so.
Maybe I'll suggest that this one doesn't do any of the talking to Mr. Gobbs.
Rosa's already turned around and walked out.
Thank goodness for that. Don't let the saloon door hit you on the way out.
Just Wookie left.
I'm just like staring at him for a bit of an awkwardly long time.
Yeah.
And then I turn around and say, so you're good with letting a mother, a child be parentless?
Let me rephrase that for you because you're clearly having problems with the language. I am good at doing my job. Now, unless there's
I don't necessarily agree.
Okay.
And I turn around and walk out before he has much of an opportunity to say anything to it.
He has plenty to say about it as you walk out.
Oh, it
This
is
is a
ignored.
family-friendly video, so I won't say what he says, and he says it in Orcish anyway. So, so you find yourselves back out on Main Street. Anais, yes.
I was going to say, can I just ask the group to hold 1 second? I just have a small question to ask our reluctant sheriff.
You can do.
I'm going to literally lean in, stick my head in and go, good afternoon, sir.
Oh, it's busy today. How can I help you?
Seen a wolf with a child.
You what with a what?
Have you seen a wolfkin with a human child?
A wolfkin with a human child? No, I can't say that I have, unless it's the start of a joke that I've not heard before.
No, but if you should happen to see one, I would appreciate if you would holler very loudly. Good day, sir.
Right. Okay. And he writes down something on a piece of paper that the GM will never remember. Okay, so you're back out on Main Street.
Basically,
Well,
you know, the typical, I'm just doing my job despite the suffering that it causes, etc., etc.
There's
So
a-
hardworking man.
So the scientist
He's
there's the
good at
scientist
being
who
a
likes
bad
to
sheriff.
sew things together and put things in pickling jars.
Put the emotions aside, ladies. A man cannot he'll get himself hung if he doesn't do what he's told to do, even if he is a sheriff. What did you find out?
Again,
He used
not
the
to
incorrect
be-
grammar. He'll get himself hanged.
Correct. Thank you.
Talk to the same dude everybody else has been telling us to talk to up at the mines.
Okay, so you're all going to trudge up with the mines. You're going to take this small child with you.
well, I was thinking, Gregor,
Yes.
would you mind entertaining Misty in town for us while we're gone?
Certainly, we can go and make mud pie together.
Doesn't that sound lovely, Misty?
It does. He's like a really big teddy bear.
He is. He'll look after you. We'll be back, okay?
And Gregor puts out an enormous paw, and she puts her very tiny hand in it, and they go walking off.
No.
Yeah.
And now we will trudge up to the mines.
How far's the mines?
It'd be about a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not far.
Is Pugsley around?
If you want him to be, I'm sure we can make him.
I would like Pugsley to come here to the mines if he's willing.
Well,
He's
you
our
need,
canary.
you need to ask him then, really.
All right.
I suspect that this idea of paying off a simple debt is not going to be quite so simple, since I suspect there's going to be quite a degree of interest involved.
Well,
We
that's
might
what
need to plan. Sorry, what?
I'm hoping for.
You want there to be a lot of money involved?
Well, I'm wanting it to not be as clear cut as paying off debts, because then we have a good reason to intervene and maybe change some things around here.
Why? This is not our job. We're not being asked.
I'm gonna tap my head and go, this will not end well.
I don't know if they will exactly be comfortable with someone leaving, because it may cause other difficulties for them.
Should be the law, right, though?
The law is not on our side on this time. We're going to have to improvise. Perhaps if we appeal to their lesser sense of justice and purchase the tabaxi herself.
Rosa is.
You go first.
Rosa's looking over her weapons and she's like checking her sword, and she's like, yes, improvise.
I turn to the halfling and go, has anyone fulfilled their quota for their payments and return from the mines that we could speak with?
Not that I know of.
Mm.
And at this point, conveniently, Pugsley flies down. One, two. Hold on. So, Kirra's 1, Alyce is 2, Jezza is 3, Sheena was 4, Carmon is 5, and Stuart is 6. Oh, hold on. Yes. Ikor, can you do me a dexterity saving roll, please?
You're going to get pooped on.
Quite possibly.
He deserves it.
Saving throw?
Yeah. See, he's a
22.
rogue. 22. He attacks with the bottom, and it misses anyway. So
He attacks with a what?
he attacks
his
with his
bottom.
bottom.
Ah,
And so he lands, and he lands on like one of those hitching posts that you're standing close to. He looks at you, Rosa, and says, "All right, Gov, how's it going?"
Good. You got to try to sneak up on him next time. He's a little bit too aware of his surroundings for my liking.
I wasn't
But-
really aiming for him. It was just I really needed to go, and he was, you all kind of in this. I knew it was going to be a problem for someone, but luckily he got out of the way. I don't want to make a bad impression.
Just for the record, unless there's something preventing it, Rosa's just going to continually be restocking her supply of various baked treats along our journey, so that she always has snacks for Pugsley.
Very well. Yes.
So I'm just going to bring out some or something and be like, hungry?
I'm always hungry. Yep, haven't had my breakfast yet.
Here we go. We're off to find a child's mum and find something interesting in this tiny town.
And
Keen to join.
he flutters his wings and shakes his tail for this. The gang's off on an adventure. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Oh.
Is there a particular place where he likes to purchase himself on Rosa?
No, he's not on Rosa. He's on a nearby hitching post.
Oh no, but I mean when we're walking.
He's not a parrot. He prefers to fly around and just kind of be. He's a pigeon. You know, he's the eagle of the pigeon world, which would probably be an eagle, but he likes to live life free.
He thinks he's an eagle.
He thinks, yeah, every pigeon
He's got
does.
an ego of an eagle.
Yeah. You have seen him flying around with local pigeons, so you know he's getting acquainted. Says, okay, so who's going in front? What's the plan? The full frontal attack? You want me to do a bit of spying for you?
Well, we're here to talk some sense into some mine owners. So,
How do you feel about mines?
Mines? Don't know. What are they?
Holes in
Like
the
big
ground.
holes in the ground.
Oh, sewers. I'll try and stay out of those. They're full of
Pretty
rats,
much.
which are like pigeons without wings.
It possibly less rats and liquid.
Okay.
It's drier.
I don't have any strong feeling because I don't really know about them. So
Fair enough.
yeah, I reckon.
so good. The main thing is these people are locking people up or forcing them to work
Yeah.
or owing bits of shiny coins. So
Yeah.
we're here to talk some sense into them.
No,
I
we're going.
met some people. I met some people locked up once. They were pigeons. They were called they're like racing pigeons. So they're kept up in little small cages, and all they do, right? I don't know if you've heard about this, but they get let out just to fly from one place to the other, right? It's like a race, and then they come back, they get fed, and they end up back in these cages again, and they don't get any shiny coins. So I know what it's all like.
I don't know if these people are actually getting shiny coins. I actually don't even know if they're getting fed properly.
I'm fairly certain that Wookie can't speak to Pugsley.
That's very true. Ignore me.
But it was
I'm making like sounds at Pugsley because for some reason Rosa keeps on talking to him, and I think that it's a game.
Yeah, look, I think
And Rosa's side of the conversation because she's speaking in common, but Pugsley's.
I'm just totally imagining Wookie talking to a pigeon, and the pigeon like doesn't understand Wookie, and
Yeah.
Wookie doesn't understand the pigeon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's because she's talking turkey and that's a pigeon.
But he does give her very meaningful looks and shrugs his wings every so often when she's talking at him.
He likes the attention.
So yeah, do you need me to do
It's
anything?
satisfying.
Or what do you want me to do? I'm feeling I'm being given the cold shoulder from this plan somewhat, but that's okay.
I don't think there is one yet.
I can't understand you either.
Yes, you can.
Can.
Oh, I can, can't I? Sorry, that was a bit rude. Wow, don't upset,
Rude.
don't upset the cat lady. Yeah,
I will eat you.
yeah, yeah.
Wait, don't threaten my friend.
I've tried that. Don't do it.
Yeah. I tell you what,
And sharp teeth.
I'll just fly around until it's convenient for the GM to bring me back in again.
That sounds fantastic, Pugsley. Let's do that.
Yeah, see you
We're
later.
probably going to die, so be free.
I live life free anyway. I choose to be part of your gang, and I don't understand what you just said to me.
Yeah, Anais, I'm just like, you've got the same issue as me.
So here's the plan, right, guys? What if there is no mine for her to work in?
You know,
What if
We should really get people out of the mine first.
Well, it's not like they work all night, right?
No.
Here's a better plan. What if there is nobody left alive that she owes money to?
That works too.
And the
Since it's the mine, no, not going to work. The mine bosses are owned by multiple people. They contribute, and they are not going to be happy if they're mind you. If we kill them and then we just snatch her and run, that might be possible.
Do not upset the balance. This is not going to go well.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Start
hunted.
killing people.
Some of us already are.
Yeah.
And she has a child to look after. Oh.
If you rescue one person from the mine, they won't care that much because they'll have plenty of other people to replace it. But if you start trying to disturb the
Can't
balance
take 'em
of
all.
the mine, then they will have an issue.
So we need to change the law then. That's so easy.
That is not going to happen.
I suggest we discreetly.
Ikor just puts his hand on his face and he's just like, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they're all going to die.
Pugsley gets bored and just flies off now.
Take me with you!
I don't understand what you're saying. Okay. So we've
Problem
established
is that we can't run a two-prong attack, because if one group goes in and says that they want this person at the same time as somebody else goes in and says they want this person, it's going to be suspicious.
And if that person then goes missing...
Okay, Rosa, you have your hand up, so good. That's good manners. Well done.
We have the name of the mine boss. Yeah.
Old man Gobs.
Old man Gobs.
Remember
Did
what his first
anybody
name
get
was?
his first name?
Old man.
Harry.
Traveling press person. Do they have his full name?
Didn't Carswell just say what his first name was?
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Harry.
Harry.
Harry Gobs. That sounds right.
Okay, so my suggestion is, obviously debt is important here. Why don't we come up with some documentation about Harry Gobbs's debt that we can conveniently exchange for this woman?
Why would he have a debt?
Yeah.
Well, why would anyone have a debt? Man like that in charge of a business like this, you don't get into these kind of high profit businesses without taking on some amount of debt.
So blackmail.
So Cedric intervenes at this point and says, "Look, it sounds like a plan. It just doesn't sound like a very good plan. I mean, if you want me to do that, I reckon it'll take about a week."
What happens when people die in the mine? They just...
Is that a philosophical question? Is it like...
No, like, do they cart out the dead to the cemetery straight away? Yeah. What if she were to just die?
Hypothetical death. You've got Druid.
I'm kind of a bit disturbed being in this group that so far you've talked about people dying, blackmailing the owner, and blowing up the mine.
Well, she wouldn't have any debt if she was dead.
First choice is to pay off her debt, but we're going with having a backup plan for when that inevitably doesn't work.
I just want to go back to the point, and this is Cedric speaking, that you discussed having a two-pronged plan. I think the problem with your two-pronged plan is so far you haven't even got one prong.
No, I said we can't have a two-prong plan.
No, you can't. You haven't even got a one-prong plan. Sorry, Carswell has put his hand up now. I love this. Come on, Carswell. You can have a gold star, and then I'll come to song. Don't you get...
My gold star.
In an earlier conversation, someone mentioned that the ladies of this town are...
Pause.
So, yeah, for lack of a better word, yes. May I make a suggestion? We take advantage of that. And
Now's not the time, Carswell. Now is not the time.
Hold on.
I'm
And
not
what
sure
I mean by that is, rather than we all go in guns blazing to ask questions, how about we send one person, maybe myself, for the simple fact that I may try and acquire this lady for purposes as this town most commonly is known for. Maybe I can purchase her.
So Cedric starts writing as you're talking about your part.
It's going to go straight to trading in humans, right? Straight to humans.
I'm more thinking.
It is a solid plan.
I pay off her debt, maybe a little bit extra to this Harry, and
maybe a little of liquor.
Maybe I take a bottle or two as well, and maybe I acquire her.
I'm aware that my means of doing my research are rather dubious, but I'm not at the point where I'm ready to engage in human trafficking.
You go get a drink then.
If the classroom could just calm down just for a moment, I'm going to go back to Song because she did have her hand up.
Sorry.
Well, I have the ability to make it look like somebody has died for about an hour, right? So if I we would get in there and she was to die, they would then release her for the mines, and I guess she wouldn't be able to pay off her debt anymore, and then she would just come back to life again and she can leave with her daughter.
And amazingly, somebody faking her death is so far the best plan I've heard as a game.
I was just going to say, can I thought someone could turn into like bugs or things.
Yeah, that's me too. And Rosa.
Maybe we should do recon and find her
Yes.
before we speak to the dude. So let's go find her first and then figure out how to get her out with even asking.
On the off chance that we can just pay off her debts, why don't we rule that option out?
Because then we're seen as being people of interest when she does actually disappear. I think we should just try and disappear her before we're interesting.
Cedric nods at this interesting point that Anais
But
made.
then she might just die, so...
Or she may die.
I understand your
Cedric
point.
starts writing down about song. He's a necromancer.
Not quite.
If they're practicing glorified slavery here, that is something we should know about and have firm evidence of, because otherwise we're just taking one person out of it and it's just tough luck for everybody else stuck there.
Legal slavery. They found a loophole. We can't do anything.
Short of changing the law, which is quite a lengthy process.
We do not have time to change the law.
We can get things in the works, but we need evidence that they're breaking the law or at least twisting it.
Right,
Burn
the
the
release
entire
part.
town.
The release part.
So just as a games master, I'm just going to step in here and just say, like, lesson number 43 of how to be a games master. Create an ethical dilemma and then just leave everyone else to work it out, because this is awesome.
Ikbor's walked off. If all these guys are doing is talking, Ikbor has walked off.
We're walking and talking. We got 10 minutes to get to the mine.
I walk faster.
Rosa is
Do not leave that man unaccompanied.
Yeah, you
How
arrived
exactly do you walk faster? You're so small.
at the gates like half an hour ago. You've been talking so much.
Probably.
Rosa
I'm
may
walking.
be a morally dubious character, but she is strongly against glorified slavery and human trafficking.
So I will just point out that I will just
Putting
point
that
out that as you've been walking and talking, as you walk towards the mine, which is set in a rocky outcrop, and you see. So what you see is on the right-hand side, there's a series of large posts with barbed wire, and inside it's like a compound. There's like tents in there, and then on the other side of the compound, you can see adjacent to the mine entrance, there is a large warehouse with huge double doors and two large brick chimneys, out of which black smoke spews. So that, yeah. So you're kind of almost at the gates of the offices of the mine now. Yes, Rosa.
What did you say they were mining again?
Iron.
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 Oh.
Yeah. So you're kind of there now. So hopefully your 17-pronged attack is gonna somehow. It's gonna be.
I'm gonna look at Song of the River and say, we need recon. You need to go see what's inside.
Rosa is just going to walk right up to whatever building looks like the administration.
Yep. So there's a kind of it's like a wooden shed. It's like a foreman's office. So you can walk in there if you want.
Yeah.
So you walk in there, and inside looks very much like the inside of a mining office. So there's kind of like tin hats and candles hanging up on hooks. So I should just point out the candles aren't hanging up on hooks, but the tin hats are. There's boxes of candles. Therein sits there's a desk with a man sitting behind. He's in his 50s. He's got big bushy mutton chops and not much hair on the top of his head. He has a fine brown jacket and waistcoat with a brown cravat, and he is busily scribbling, not scribbling as such, but writing with a quill and ink in a large ledger that's in front of him.
Okay. Rosa is going to walk up and say, like, are you Mr. Gobbs?
Who wants to know? And he doesn't look up as he's writing.
Well, I'm here to pay off some debts.
That stops him writing and he looks up.
I assume you are Mr. Gobbs?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm Mr. Gobbs.
insight check.
If you wish, you can
That
do it with,
tone.
you can do it with advantage because you don't think that he'd be lying about it, but you can.
He's got a nameplate on his chest.
Yeah.
Name badge.
Gobs. In front of him, it's
On
got
the
Mr.
table.
Gobs,
Yeah.
and he's got Mr.
Yeah,
Gobs
the
written on
plaque.
a badge on his waistcoat.
Yeah, that's a 17.
Yeah, there's also a certificate at the back saying mining foreman Mr. Gobs, and there's a picture of him next to
Employee of the month.
Yeah.
literally a whole wall. And there's a newspaper article with Harry Gobs opens mine. It's a picture of him with it. Yeah, it's him.
In my defense, you sounded extremely sarcastic and dubious.
No, he
But
sounds
okay.
very world weary about somebody coming to his office asking who it was. So
I'm here to pay off the debt of Miss.
Sean Moon.
Her name, Carmon does not remember the
And
last.
Shine Moon.
That's right.
but no. Okay, so the way this works is that because Carmen doesn't actually know, it doesn't matter if you're saying because you're not there. So you're here to pay a debt. Okay, whatever. You don't seem to even know who you're paying the debt for. Who are you?
My name is Rosa.
I'm gonna roll for insight. He rolled a 19. So
Cool,
okay.
I pull out my diploma with Rosa.
Okay. Has he got a picture next to it as well? Well, I'm glad we've established who we both are.
Good.
What's the point of you coming all this way saying you want to pay somebody's debt and you don't even know the person's name? I mean, who are you to this person?
Generous benefactor. I'm sure you're familiar with those.
No, not really. Try another line. Why? Who are you, and why are you trying to pay someone's debt?
Okay. Fine. Let's be blunt. I'm stuck in the town down there, which I'm sure you're aware does not have the most to go by in entertainment-wise. My friends have found a small child who would like her mother back. I happen to have some coin on me and would like to pay for her mother's release.
Okay, and the name of the mother?
It's Earth, Shine, Moon. Something, something, something.
Has somebody texted Carmen in the meantime off screen? I'm going to insight check all of you. Okay. Well, that won't be possible, I'm afraid, but thank you for inquiring.
Well, I was under the understanding that she had a debt that she was working off.
That's correct.
So why is that debt not able to be paid?
That's not how it works.
Well, how does it work?
I'm not at liberty to go into a discussion about the law with you, madam.
Oh, well, I've been informed that you are, but if not, I'd be happy to speak to your manager.
I'm in charge here now. I'm going to ask you to nicely.
So you're in charge, but you don't understand what's going on.
I'm going to ask you one
My
nice.
understanding that doesn't make you a very good worker.
And he rings a small bell on his desk. Ting. And he says, I gave you the opportunity to leave nicely. Now, next time when somebody asks you to do that, I suggest you take their advice.
Next time, maybe you should accept an offer for coin instead of waiting for things to get more difficult for one of your upbringing.
Okay. So for the rest of you who are waiting outside, you see two large Wolfkin miners walk past you. They walk through you, and they walk into the office. And
Walk through them. Is everyone ghosts now?
Well, in the kind of, if you're standing in a crowd, it's still possible to walk through people. It's basically just barging them out of the way, unless you got out of the way. So
Technically, one would be through the crowd, not through the people, but yes.
somebody's going to be rolling with disadvantage very, very soon. So they now stand slightly behind you, flanking you. Mr. Gobbs looks at them and says, this lady needs, and I use the word lady loosely, needs escorting from my office, and you can send her back into town. And
Could you please describe exactly what I'm seeing in the office?
Show us enough as metal.
There's a desk in front of him. He had a quill and a piece of paper. He's sitting on a chair. It's a shed. There's two Wolfkin, one on either side of you.
Okay. I'm just going to look at the Wolfkin, kin.
Yep.
And be like, I'm sorry to be a disturbance, gentlemen. I'm just having a conversation with this man here. So if you guys would mind just waiting outside until the conversation's over, can I please roll intimidation?
With disadvantage.
Sure.
I'm gonna roll my dice. Mhm.
Deciding whether I want to burn. No, that's just a 10.
Okay. They don't find you particularly intimidating at all. And one each will grab your arm. They'll basically, they'll hook each arm themselves, and they're going to drag you
Do
out.
I have a chance to react before they go to grab me? Because I'm not just going to stand there and let them grab me.
No, you tried to intimidate them. Whilst you're trying to intimidate you, they grabbed you. You had an action intimidating them, so on their turn they grabbed you, and they're going to drag you out of the office.
Okay, well, can I struggle against being dragged out?
You can absolutely struggle.
Okay, that would be a strength check, I guess.
With disadvantage, because there's two of them.
Yeah, fair enough. Just double checking something. And what are they wearing? Just out of curiosity.
Just their like denim dungarees and flannels, and they've got a hard hat on each.
What are they, Australian Wolfkin or something?
They're Dinkin. The Dingo Kin.
The dingo.
Australian.
Yeah, they're FIFO.
Okay.
Fair in, fair out. Meanwhile, back with Rosa.
Yeah, no, that is like a 6 on strength. So she's doing great today.
So you leave Mr. Gobbs's office, and they basically start dragging you back down. I mean, you're not face down in the mud. Your heels are dragging as you're marched unceremoniously and in no uncertain terms back down Mine Street towards the town.
Could I use the distraction to make sure no one's looking at me, tap Anais on the shoulder and say, I'll be right back, and turn into a rat?
Yeah, you can do that. You don't need to roll for that because the Wolfkin are very firmly have their attention fixed on Rosa, and Mr. Gobbs won't be out of sight.
What's your fuss are you making, Rosa?
As soon as I get an opportunity to take an action, I will be taking an action.
I'll get back to you on that. Yeah. So you Song turns into a rat.
And I would like to make my way towards the mine entrance, if I could.
Yep, sure. You can.
It's nighttime?
You can scurry into the mine.
Daytime.
Yeah, it's about
Daytime.
late morning. Visibility is really good.
Yeah.
What would you like to do? I mean, you go into the mine.
Mm.
There's basically like a narrow gauge track, and you see mining carts on that track. The mine itself extends horizontally for quite some distance. There's oil lamps hanging up at distances. Yeah.
My goal would be to look for a tabaxi woman.
Uh-huh.
You might be walking for a
There
while.
may be a couple of them.
It may also
One that resembles Misty.
You'll be walking for a while.
it
Yes.
may be a very extensive mine. So
Yes.
I'm gonna do you a solid and say almost certainly that in your rat form you will
Run
within
out of
an
time.
hour you will not find anyone.
Do I only have an hour?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's
You
2
can cast it.
hours, isn't it, in wild shape?
There's 2.
2 hours. Yeah, you're not gonna
2
find.
hours, no.
You
Well,
can see
You can
some of
recast
the-
it and go 4.
You can see you can see some professional miners. You get that far.
okay, but obviously it should be the more dangerous stuff.
Cutting edge.
Okay. Well, seeing that it gets pretty far out, I'd come back out of the mines. Is there like somewhere that looks like an equivalent of like the barracks, like where?
Change room.
There's the camp.
Yeah.
There's
a
a camp that you walk past.
I would like to. So essentially, where if they sleep, the indentured people would sleep. So would that be the camp?
That would be harsh.
You
That would be in
employ that.
that would be in the mines.
You wouldn't know who sleeps in the camp or doesn't sleep in the camp.
Okay. Could
While Song's having a think about that, I'm going to go to Rosa.
Yeah.
I will allow you to do something if you wish.
Cool. So I will be going invisible. And then I will be using wild shape to turn into a mouse. So basically, I shrink down to a size that they're going to lose their grip on me, and then I'm invisible.
Wild shape's an innate thing. It's not a spell. So
Yeah.
as long as she does it before she wild shapes, she can do both. By the law.
So which happens first? You turn into a mouse first, or you go invisible first?
I go invisible first.
Yep.
And then turn into a mouse.
Okay. So obviously you drop down to ground level. They look very shocked as to what's just happened, and you can see them. They freeze, and you can see each of them have got their head cocked to one side, and neither of them move. What do you do, little Rosa mouse?
Can I take a reaction?
You're nowhere near them.
You're not near them.
Well, this would have been as soon as I had an ability to take an action after they've dragged me out. So I don't know how, because they would have had their turn, which would have been 6 seconds of dragging. So I assume that's 6 seconds of dragging from the office.
I love it when a DM assumes so much about what I've just done.
Fair enough.
I think I've given you a description that I've allowed you to do what you've asked. However, there is nobody in your gang near you.
Okay.
I've also described what the Wolfkin are doing.
Did we see it though?
We would have seen me being dragged out the front door, I would assume.
Yeah, you'd have seen them go past and start heading down Mine Street. So,
Question.
yeah.
When someone turns into a different animal, would you smell like your original smell, or would you smell like the new animal?
That sounds like a philosophical question.
Yes.
I'm gonna make the rule. Let's all remember this: that Rosa will continue to smell like Rosa in mouse form, so she won't take up the scent of a mouse.
Okay. I am. So.
Ikbo's going in to see the manager.
Okay, I'll come to you in a minute. I just want to find out what Rosa wants to do.
I will then be on my next turn, I will be casting haste and then using my movement to run up towards the others, and with the idea of finding a place to hide or get a sort of.
If you're a mouse, you can't cast haste.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
And not only that, running, you can certainly run. So the bits of that you can do is you can run back to the gang, but it's still going to take you a long time because you're mouse sized. And the reason I've described it as is because if you do that, the way things are, they can roll for perception. They won't have disadvantage because you're invisible, because they've also got very keen hearing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, I forgot you can't cast any spells in animal form. In that case, I will be holding my action until they make a move.
Okay. And I'll go to Ikbo because at the moment the Wolfkin are just standing stock still listening. They're not doing anything else. Ikbo,
I'm going to gesture for Carswell to come inside as well.
Yep. I'm going to follow Ikbo.
All right. You see the afore-described human. He's writing again in his ledger.
Carswell, this is the man you're looking for, the man who gives you a job. Mr. Gobbs is what, sir? Mr. Gobbs?
He looks up and doesn't immediately see you because you're quite short.
I apologize. Down on the floor.
Oh. Hey. Yes. Sorry, I was a bit busy. How can I help?
My big friend here is looking for a job. Is there a vacancy in the mine?
There's always a vacancy in the mine. You any
there
good?
You are, Carswell. You have a job.
Any good with the pickaxe?
Don't do it.
Show him your muscles. You love flexing.
Carswell just stands there and goes, yes, sir.
Really? You're not going to flex like your friend said? Sure. What's the worst that could happen?
Roll a 1 again.
Thanks.
You don't look particularly kind of like built for mining, I have to say.
But he has a good heart. He works hard.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't need a physical fitness test or anything. Yep. Okay. You can. And he gestures there's a small wooden chest in the corner. He says, "Pick out yourself some clothes, and grab a tin hat and a candle, and you can head down the mine. And when you come to the T junction, if you turn to the right, you'll find one of the site managers there, and he'll tell you what to do next."
All right, I'm going to go to the chest and grab out items.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to grab the items, and I'm going to head out the door and head up to the T junction.
Okay, so you walk out, you walk past the others, and you walk down where Ratty McRatface went earlier. And after about 10 minutes walking, you get to a T junction. And as you turn to the right, you'll see a human. He's got a very kind of dirty-looking face. He looks like he's a proper miner. He's actually done some work. And he says, "All right, I haven't seen you before. What's your game?"
Oh, new here. Just got told to send up. Come and see you about some work.
Righto. Well, we better get changed into your mining clothes then.
All right. I'm guessing he directs me to, I don't know what, lockers or storage chest or whatever.
No.
Okay.
You just get.
Strip.
He invites you to just change.
No shame. I get changed. I got a duffel bag, so I just put I stole all my gear in my duffel bag.
Okay. Yeah.
Except for my
Rifle.
no, well that's kind of folded up and in the duffel bag. Except for my shit, I don't know what it's called now. I just kind of put my back to him. I sort of put my cutlass and knuckle dusters sort of inside my overalls.
Yeah. He says, "What's that? You're sticking your cutlass down your overalls? That's not very safe. You could cut yourself."
I had my back to him.
He's watching you.
Well, I
Wants a peek.
I mean, the only way you could get away with that is assume that at no time have you moved the cutlass from plain view to down the front.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, cutlass goes in the duffel bag, but the knuckle dusters don't.
All right, fine. Yeah, sounds good. All right, I shall leave you there. Now, Rosa.
Yes.
So it's been a good couple of minutes, and you're still in mouse form, and still standing either side of you are these two huge wolfkin, who have not moved at all.
Yeah, I am going to. So use my return to my human shape as a. I'm between them still on the ground, aren't I?
You are.
Use my movement to move, so run however many movement a mouse has.
You tell me. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a perception check for both of them, and you can choose the grey dice, which is this one, or the purple dice. Which one do you want me to use?
Let's go with the grey dice.
Okay, my distant grey dice. Okay. Okay. You can roll me stealth.
Right, and speed is 20 feet by the look of it. So stealth. Do I get advantage on stealth because I'm invisible?
No, because they have been actively trying to perceive where you are.
But wouldn't that
They've got very good hearing.
I'm not trying to argue, but just for my understanding,
Yep.
they would get. My understanding would be they would get advantage on their perception check, but that wouldn't affect my advantage on stealth because that's based on my characteristics, and their perception is based on their characteristics.
You can.
I'll take whatever your decision is, but that would be.
I think it's because they're trying to listen to you, not trying to see you.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't get advantage on stealth because all things being equal, although you're invisible, they're actively listening. Because what they suspect is that you've turned invisible. They don't necessarily know that you're tiny.
Are they smart enough for that?
How dare you? Of course they're smart. You're saying that miners are not smart.
No, I'm saying Wolfkin might not be.
Sorry, Karina, if you're listening.
Timber's not been gone that long. Jeez.
Oh, wow, he's barely.
Astral projection punch.
Okay, so you can roll. So what's your modifier for stealth?
I get a plus
As a
3 to
mouse.
stealth.
As a mouse.
You can have +6. That would be the compromise. You don't get advantage, but you get an additional modifier.
Okay, that would bring me up because I rolled a 7, so +6, that would be 13. I'm gonna burn. Screw it. I'll just keep it as a 13.
Okay, so they rolled a 15, so they hear which direction something had happened. So one of them is going to jump in where they think you are.
A human is.
Huh?
Where I think a human is.
Well, yeah. They heard a noise that they didn't. They heard an invisible noise. So.
And so they're getting that as a. I'm just trying to, because I've got different ways I can do this in terms of burning my luck and stuff. So are they getting that as a bonus action to react to a sound? Are they?
No, they're taking their action because you've taken your movement and you've been stealthy.
I had a chain of things I wanted to do with my turn.
Okay,
So
I'll tell you what happened, and then you'll tell me how that fits into your train or not.
Okay.
So you turned invisible, then turned into a mouse. Their natural instinct is to freeze because they're predators, basically, and listen and use their acute hearing to see if they can hear anything. You've now scurried 20 foot, and you kind of just missed the cutoff for the stealth. So they've heard something.
Okay.
So their next action is, having heard something, they're going to be pouncing at what that something is. So that's my course of action. Obviously, it depends on how you want to handle that.
Cool. So my train that I wanted to do was move 20 feet.
Yep.
Unwild shape, which I can do as a bonus action.
Yep.
And then use my mold earth cantrip to make a noise kind of off to the side of me with the hopes of distracting them.
While still invisible.
Okay. Whilst invisible.
Can you cast that whilst invisible?
I think you have to do a concentration saving throw to cast a spell.
Is that, yeah, because I was trying to look it up, but that...
Because that checks out okay until the point you're going to cast another spell whilst invisible. That's where
I think she has to do a constitution saving throw to maintain concentration on the
Is
invisibility.
it constitution or is it wisdom?
Whatever her spellcasting modifier is, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm
Which
just
is
looking
wisdom.
Yeah.
Which is wisdom as a druid, so
Mm.
you need to do a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
And
So
what-
it says here that you lose concentration on a spell if you cast another spell that requires concentration. So you can't concentrate on 2 spells at once.
Yes.
But my cantrip, the Mold Earth, isn't a concentration spell.
Because what I have an issue is that you're using regular invisibility, aren't you?
Yes.
Hmm. You see, my understanding of it through play is that if you're invisible, you can't cast another spell whilst invisible. That stops you being invisible, the casting of another spell.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to take your call on it, but from me reading of the rules, it's only if it's you choose another concentration spell. So anything that's not a concentration spell.
All right.
But again, you're the GM, so whatever your call is.
We'll allow that course of action. You can do that.
Spell ends for a target that attacks or casts a spell. That's what invisibility says.
Okay.
Spell or cantrip?
Spell.
Cantrip is a spell.
Yes.
Oh, okay. In that case, I would not. If I know it's going to lose me my invisibility,
Yep.
I won't cast another spell. I would just be trying to move away and turn back to my regular form.
Where's
Okay.
Pugsley? Get Pugsley to swoop him.
Too late now. Okay, so your course of action is that. So they're going to pounce at the now human-sized you,
Yeah.
although you're invisible. So they're pouncing. I will roll one dice and I will roll with disadvantage because they've obviously got to target an invisible person, not just hear it. They've actually got to know exactly where they're jumping. So I'll roll with disadvantage for that. 10. So I'm going to say they get close but no cigar. They jump where you were. So you still have they don't like face plant or dive into the mud. They leap towards you and swing their arms around, and neither of them touch you, basically. So you can now take an action.
Okay, my action would be to can I dash whilst attempting to be stealthy?
No.
No. Okay, I'm gonna just try and get back towards the others. How far up are they from where I am?
I'm going to say 100 feet.
Okay, cool. In that case, I am going to use to run or dash or whatever to get as close to the others as I can.
Okay. So what will happen, even though you're invisible, they will see your big sloppy boot prints going up the middle of the muddy street. So
Fair enough.
yeah. So they're going to chase after. They're going to chase after you, and they're basically going to grab at your invisible form because they're going to assume, even though they're stupid wolfkin, Carswell, they're going to assume that on top of the invisible boots is an invisible person.
That's fair.
Yeah, so you'll get about 50 feet before they apprehend you. They grab you, but they're not hurting or attacking you. So they have grabbed at you again.
Okay, am I within eye shot of the others?
Yeah, if they're
All right.
watching, they might find something more interesting.
Okay, yeah. Is anyone reacting at all?
Ikbo's entering the camp with mining gear.
Pugsley's close by.
How far away had they taken her?
How far away?
About-
they're taking it?
About feet from you guys, apparently.
Yeah,
About how far?
150 feet.
yeah.
I thought I was 50.
But you basically dashed, and you got to within about 50 feet of them.
So that's a bit of a way, but within viewing distance.
Yeah.
Unless you're invisible, yeah.
So you see
Yeah,
them tackle something to the ground that is invisible after having dragged Rosa off. So I don't know about Wookie, but most people would probably be able to just think those two events causally.
Yeah.
Like Wookie had because you guys were busy, so I didn't interject. But I was wondering if I would have overheard Ikbo
Inside.
inside the office.
I don't know. I wasn't being.
No.
I was talking normally, so.
No, unless you said it at that particular moment in time that you were actively trying to hear what was being said, I'm going to say no. They're inside the
You'll
shed.
see me walk out with mining gear though, and Carswell walk out with mining gear and enter the mines.
Yeah.
I would have probably been more curious about what was happening there than like you getting pulled away, because I just assumed that you got turned down and that's not helping the situation. We're trying to get in.
Yeah. Well, go inside, ask for job. He gives you gear.
Yeah, I was actually going to pretend that like I was with you and just been like, sir, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. I poke my head back in and say, oh, one more?
And I like step up and I've like done the change myself into a male with disguised self.
Okay, before you do all this,
Mm.
for those who are looking down the road in Rosa's general direction, you will see a troop of about 10 soldiers walk up Mine Street, and their uniform is unknown to you. So you recognize it's a bit far, so you wouldn't recognize the insignia either, but they're wearing like a dark grey uniform and they're like the decorate, like the embroidery is in like a silver color. And they walk up Mine Street and then take an abrupt right angle to the right, past the internment camp, and they march into a small door at the side of the warehouse.
Are they goose stepping? Because they sound suspiciously familiar.
They're not goose stepping, but they seem quite officious. They are.
I say grey soup with silver embroidery. That's just terrible.
I changed direction to the warehouse.
Okay.
I would have noticed the soldiers, but I'm not paying attention to what's happening with Rosa. I'm probably more tracking Song since she told me that she was gone rat.
Okay. What? So, but hold on. So is Song still a rat?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you've noticed the soldiers. What? So are you heading in their direction or?
Me or Song?
Song.
Yeah. So I noticed them going to the warehouse, so I think I might have a little peek in there.
All right. And Anais, are you following Song?
Visually, I'm not moving.
Okay. Cool. Right. At the sight of the 10 soldiers walking towards the warehouse, the wolves, for reasons you're not sure of, let you go.
And I do. I want to try and do something before they get up, because I'm assuming they've tackled me to the ground. Invisible.
No, they came alongside you and grabbed at you. They didn't dive to the ground or anything.
Okay. In that case, that's fine.
So they let go of you and they start dashing willfully back towards the mine entrance.
Away from the soldiers.
Ostensibly, yes.
Okay.
What you'd actually notice is, especially if you're Rosa, is that despite being given a job to do and seemingly to do it relatively effectively, the sight of the soldiers has made them run back to the mine.
Intriguing.
Isn't it just?
Were the soldiers all the same race?
Human.
Yep.
And we don't recognize the uniform. And do they look like private militia or like wouldn't know?
Well, so do you remember when you got back on the train in Liberty City? There were some soldiers there.
The Edisonian soldiers.
Yeah, for those who got on the train, the Edisonian soldiers were wearing a blue, like a navy blue uniform with gold embroidery and buttons.
Mm-hmm.
The grey uniform seems to be very similar in style to the Edisonian blue soldiers. It's just in palettes of silver and grey.
Ooh, intriguing.
They lost their dye. They left us in the wash too long.
Yeah, washed out. Yeah. So, okay, I'm just aware of the time. So what we're going to do is we're going to join Song. You've gone up to the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm making the assumption that you've put yourself in a position where you can see what's happening.
Yes, either at a window or through a hole,
Sure.
so I can see
There's
inside.
a small grimy window that you can be peeking through. And I'm going to describe to you what you see. So inside the warehouse, it's clearly and probably makes you feel quite uncomfortable because it's very industrialized in there. There's a furnace in there. It's mostly empty. There's lots of chains and mechanical gear, and what you see are three, I suppose, engineer mechanical type people. So they got their oily dungarees on, and they got like denim hats, and they all look oily and mucky. And inside, you also see 4 Edisonian soldiers. They're the ones in the blue uniforms with the gold embroidery. The 10 soldiers you saw earlier kind of go into the space, and everyone stops working, and they kind of walk towards each other. And so one of the grey soldiers steps forward. He seems to have more decoration on his epaulets than the others, so you assume he's the commanding officer. And he speaks briefly, apparently, to the commanding officer of the 4 soldiers in the blue uniform. And they salute at each other and shake hands. So, because you're outside looking through a window, I won't allow you to hear what's being said.
I would like to. Can I try and get inside somehow?
Yep, sure. Look, getting in is not a problem. You can squeeze in and you can make your way along. So you still have a view looking down on the warehouse and the scene that's in front of you. And so as you're starting to get closer, you do pick up a few words. They obviously are, you know, allies, or at least, you know, they're not enemies. You hear the blue commanding officer speak to the other commanding as and referring to him as Major Venn. Major Venn is a human, late 40s, big waxed moustache, quite a severe looking haircut. So very shaved at the sides, but kind of greased back. And they're talking about the work that had been done, and that it was being done ahead of schedule, which is very reassuring. And that he's brought his men here to complete the work, and that the others, the other soldiers, are to be relieved, and as are the mechanics that are there also. You notice that as Major Venn is speaking, the other grey soldiers are kind of, they were standing in like a block, but they kind of more fanned out now. And Major Venn and the other captain of the guard salute each other and shake hands again. Major Venn then walks back to his men. And you hear him say that now they are to follow their orders in accordance with Operation Indemnity. And then what you then see and hear is that the 9 soldiers raise their rifles and they shoot
Everyone.
all the soldiers and all the engineers, who then proceed to fall to the ground. And the grey soldiers then go and make sure that they're dead by inserting a bayonet into a rather vital area.
Like, this is literally Song's face is just like, oh,
in a very rat-like way.
Yes, yes.
Horrified rat.
And then you would then see Major Venn order his other 9 troops to drag the now bodies of the other soldiers and the engineers and put them into the furnace.
So apparently that's how they relieve soldiers in the army. Yeah.
And on that bit of a cliffhanger, we shall leave it for today's session. We shall join again next week. And so Carswell and Ikor will be in the mine, Anais and Wookie will be outside the office, and Rosa will be trudging her way back, either invisible or not, to where Wookie and Anais are. Okay. So,
wow.
So that was episode 9. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit something a bit different and a bit more I suppose, thematic as we can expect in the next few episodes. So I'm Phil. I was the Games Master, and very briefly, I was a very affable bear who's now babysitting. I shall go round in order. So, Kirra.
Hi. It was nice to speak to you all.
Thank you.
On the spot, let's come back to me.
No, we're not coming back to you. That's done.
Yeah, that's it. I'm editing that out. Next is Stuart.
Hi, I played Ikor, the Kobold Rogue. Thanks for listening.
Cool. And then we have Carmon.
Hi, I played Rosa, the human druid. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Then we're going to go to Jezza.
There you go, Jez. Thanks everyone for watching, listening. I'll see you next time.
Thank you. And to Sheena.
Hi, I'm Wookie, and hope you all have a lovely day, evening, whatever time it is for you now. And we'll see you next time.
Cool. Thank you. And lucky last, we go to Alyce.
Yes, thank you for watching me try and not freak out about some soldiers just killing each other as Song of the River Tabaxi Druid in rat form.
Dun, dun, dun.
So thank you everyone.
Next time.
And thank you everyone. And hopefully click subscribe and keep following the action on this game, the Copper Wars, and also for our other game that we have, the post-apocalyptic nightmare that is Carmon's creation, called Choosing to Live, which is great fun to play. So yeah, hope to see you all again next week as we embark on chapter 10, Double Figures.